are lucky people. You're getting 2 live broadcasts on the same day. That ain't bad. That's service with a smile, isn't it, Duke? Oh, you're muted, old son.
Bloody hell.
Oh dear.
I was saying I've changed my appearance a bit since the last
Yes.
one.
Go on,
It looks like it
explain.
gives them a bit of a different feel.
Explain what happened.
Well, I fell asleep and then your phone was on silent, so I went,
Yep.
screw it, I'm going to go have a shave and a shower. And halfway through, lathering up my bald bunts, you decided to try and phone me and text me and tell me we're going live. I was like, oh shit, I'll run then.
Well, I probably should own up to this because it's partly my fault. Is obviously I'd arranged the Q&A with Tony Carr, which is tomorrow. If you weren't aware, dear viewer, please tune in for that. It's around about 7:30 start, and we can obviously have a good old time with that with a bona fide West Ham legend. Let's not muck about.
Indeed.
But yeah, I obviously said to Tony, "Yeah, come on, blah blah blah." Never looked at the sort of like the fixtures really. I just sort of went, "Listen, I'm getting a proper West Ham legend on. He went, I can do 7:30 on. Oh, brilliant, thank you, brilliant, excellent. And then obviously latterly realised that hang on, normally we do the match preview the day before, so it's like we're doing it today. Stuff it. We were here, so anyway.
Why not?
Usual thing, guys, a little bit of housekeeping. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platform. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that bell icon. You'll be alerted for any new content as and when we upload it to the channel. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. And talking of support, please don't forget to support the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. This is a charity that does great work in the Newham Borough area, trying to feed the families of those that have fallen on tough times in this cost of living crisis that we are all going through. I know that probably you're watching this and going, well, I'm going through it as well. We all are. Let's be honest. We're all in the same boat. But these are families that are really, really struggling, guys. So even if it's just a couple of quid that you can shell out this month, seriously, every little helps. And if you're going on Wednesday night to the game, just to mark your card, if you come out of Westfield, you are heading towards London Stadium with the Aquatic Centre on your left as you go over the bridge. John normally rocks up there, and his associates, they'll normally rock up there. They've got the Iron Supporting Food Bank flag. They're quite prominent. And listen, it doesn't have to be money, but if you want to give them a few bob, they'll take cash off your hand. And also, if you've got any, like I say, always use the example, cans of beans or whatever, they'll take it. It will get to good use. And we thank you very much indeed for your support in this endeavour. So, match day 5 of 38, West Ham United versus Tottenham Hotspur at London Stadium. Duke, this could be a tricky one. I mean, we're coming off the back of a win, but it was, we discussed earlier, it was a bit of a scruffy one.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Rob, I personally think Forest outplayed Spurs in huge portions of the game yesterday. I thought they were absolutely just fantastic, Forest, yesterday. They took the game to Spurs. Listen, Spurs got an early goal. They then got a penalty, which obviously Henderson saved. Very, very good save as well. Same side as Declan Rice, I'd like to point out. And then they go and get a goal, which a defensive lapse, Rob, to be honest with you, by Forest. I thought Forest were the better team for huge chunks of the game. And if we can,
we were
match,
against them.
Yeah, if we can, and listen, if we can match Forest's endeavour, no disrespect to Forest, I do think we have the better players than Forest in positions. So I'd like now, here we go again. There's more than one this time.
Bank holiday
I'd like to
Lewisham.
think, oh, indeed, we're dead. We're so quiet in this. I'd like to think that if we get in the positions that Forest found themselves in, we won't. Spurs won't go away with a clean sheet from the London Stadium tomorrow if we can play like like Forest did yesterday. Now, I would also like to point out that if that white-haired Brazilian toss piece tries to do that tomorrow at the London Stadium, I will be quite happy for Vladimir Sofal to take a red in the 90th minute and
Ooh.
absolutely snap that fucker. Because I tell you what, there was nothing as disrespectful as that prick, as what he did. And I tell you what, I stood there, I watched the highlights this morning. I stood there and I applauded once again because I did it live last night. I applauded Johnson for absolutely smashing him.
I
I
heard about this.
hate
I never
that.
saw it. What happened?
Basically, you haven't got long left. Spurs are on the attack.
Hmm.
You know, the ball comes out to Richarlison out on the left, and he plays keep ups with it, Rob, on the touchline.
Ooh.
Right, four keep ups. That's all it was. But walking backwards towards his own goal, 4 or 5 keep ups. Um, kind of passes it off. Johnson comes in and wins the ball back
Hmm.
to him. He then wins the ball and passes it back to Spurs player. But Johnson, to quote myself, no fucks were given and just absolutely followed through and lumped the brick.
Have some
And
of that.
I tell you what, yes, I mean, commentators turned around and said, you don't do that on. You don't do that on a football pitch. You don't.
Yeah,
That's
that's
completely
crossing the line.
disrespectful. But then the other commentator turns around and goes, "But you can't go around kicking players on a football pitch." It's like, well, you can. If that's what they choose to do, they've got to expect that there's going to be consequences from the other players that feel like you're taking the piss out of them.
Hmm.
You know, I've played five-a-side and I've had someone do exactly that. They may have ended up with a couple of cracked ribs when I absolutely larruped them straight into the balls that go around the pitch. Like, I can't stand it. I hate it. It's absolute, complete and utter disrespect. And as I say, if he tries to do it again tomorrow, either Sufal rattles him and sends him flying, or someone climbs over and does it over the advertising hoardings, comes over onto the pitch and does it for him anyway. I'm
Say what you
advocating that.
say what you think, mate.
Oh,
Don't
I
hold
hate him,
back.
Rob. I hated him when I'll tell you what, I hated him when he was at Everton because I thought he was an arrogant, stuck-up cock. Now he's gone to them, I hate him even more.
I'm sure he does a lot of good work for children's charities in Brazil. But
Couldn't give a shit. He's a
speaking of
prick.
Brazilians, how excited are you about the signing of Paqueta?
I've not had one. Oh, sorry, you're talking about Paqueta. Sorry, I know.
Yeah.
I only shaved this head. I didn't. There was nothing going on. No, too
No,
soon.
no, 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 no. We're
I've
talking
not
about a
had a
different
Brazilian.
Brazilian. Different Brazilian.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um,
You know this
mate.
thing about this work permit situation, though. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, he's having to fly. They're flying him to Hull tomorrow because there's no appointments in London tomorrow.
I'm
Well,
sure that'll be a culture shock to him. You know, he's from Brazil. He's been living in Lyon for the last however long, and now he's going to Hull.
to be fair though, mate, that shows that the club are being proactive on it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? At least they're. It's not like we're going. Oh, we've only signed him today. He ain't going to be ready for Wednesday. We won't bother. They want him. They obviously Moyes is
He's,
going around and going, fucking sort it. I want him for
yeah.
Wednesday.
Well, he's
So
got to
even
be
if it
done
is
by
just
midday tomorrow, I think I've heard. Is
yeah.
that
Well,
right?
listen, if they can get him in, if they can get him in a plane up the Hull, I don't know where Hull's airport is. To be honest with you, I've never been. Unless they're going to land it on a river somewhere just outside Hull, and he jumps out and.
Maybe it'll be a
But
helicopter. Maybe there'll be a helipad on some
that's a
building
great
somewhere in
shout.
Hull, and he'll parachute out. You know, like what James Bond
Oh,
did at the
bit like the
2012
Queen.
Olympics. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
carrot and blue
We
parachute.
Jesus Christ, we talk a lot of shit. Um, but
This
no,
before anybody asks, this is just water.
yeah, I'm only on the Pepsi. What I will say, it shows proactivity from the club that listen, let's get him registered. I know Budgie in the chat. He's put something in our group on WhatsApp, and he said he spoke to a Leon fan in his local
Hmm.
French fella Leon fan, and he said that the guy's got He's got a lot of drive, much like Declan Rice. Drive to be the best, drive to want to be successful. And the guy said he'll probably pick up man of the match performances more often than not. So I'll be honest with you, and I will be honest with you, I've not been this excited for a player like this than I was for Dimitri Payet, Rob. You know, that kind of that playmaker-esque type player. I remember watching him in the games in the early stages of the Europa League last year, and then when he stood out for me, Rob. He looks an absolute weapon, and I think if we deploy him in the 10, the link-up play with Scamacca, Bowen, probably even Benny out on the left, excites me so much for the rest of this season. I'm so looking forward to. Tell you what, I'm looking. It's the same level of my excitement of seeing this guy play and my hatred for Richarlison. They're level.
You can't separate them.
No.
Okay. Right. Well, I guess since we're sitting here wittering on about the teams that are going to take to the pitch, we're probably going to have to do the old predicted 11s. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, let's just mark your card as far as the officials are concerned. The referee will be Peter Banks, and he will be, as Judge Dredd used to say, he is the law. Yeah. His assistants will be Eddie Smart and Nick Greenhalgh. The fourth official will be Michael Salisbury. The VAR will be Stuart Atwell, who once upon a time gave a goal when the ball didn't even go under the bar and between the posts and over the line, but that's another story. And the assistant VAR is Konstantin Hatzidakis. If I pronounce that incorrectly, I'm not Greek. I apologise, but I think I did quite well there.
A fantastic name. Also, Nick Greenhalgh, do you not reckon that's a silent GH?
I'd say so.
Because you called him Halg.
Nick Greenhalgh.
You called him Greenhalgh.
Did I?
Just so you know.
I think it's because you're listening on FM or AM. Which is why when I was a little bit worried when we did the Mount Rushmore, Mount Ratty Rushmore, teeth in the engaged brain. I was a little bit concerned because when Russ turned around and said he wanted to do cult heroes, I was thinking, do you know what? If this was on medium wave on the radio, there'd be so many complaints. There would.
Oh dear.
Offended from Tunbridge Wells. You know the sort.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I listen. With what Benny's put there.
Oh look, Green Hall. Okay.
Yeah. We can't do that. We just signed a bloke from France. Because they're asses. Budgie says there he wants to see Benny, Paqueta and Cornet behind Mickey. Well, what about Scamacca? And what about Bowen?
Oh, I don't think Bowen would have too many complaints on recent
No. But I'm going based on last season as well. I mean, I keep forgetting about Cornet being there, you know, and I am. It just goes to show our strength in depth right now, Rob. The fact that I'm picking a team and I'm leaving out a £15 million signing like Cornet, or we could be leaving out a in our opinion, £75 million rated Jared Bowen, you know, and then Budgie's talking about Mickey being in the team and we're talking about Scamacca. It excites me, this strength in depth. I know we've now signed 8. There's still another couple that apparently are still on the on the block, isn't there? As such, you know, you've got the fact that we're still after Gallagher, loan option to buy or obligation to buy. The fact that we're there's so much still going on for the next 5 days that I've not seen a window like this. So I'm still really excited about what's coming. But that's for another.
Unlike us in recent times, isn't it? But there you go.
Very much so.
Right. Should we get down to the starting 11 prediction?
Yeah, I'm just looking at my shiny head.
It's very, very sexy. Very nice. Joe's a lucky woman.
Thank you, Rob. I'm glad you like
Okay, right. This is what I suspect that David Moyes will go with. We'll see whether I'm right or wrong at an hour before kickoff. So I don't think that it's going to be really revelatory to say that Fabianski will be the starting goalkeeper, unless, of course, he gets injured in the warm-up or something. I suspect that the Polish stopper will be the number one. Back four, because I think we're going to revert back to 4-2-3-1. And whether that's the right call or not, but I suspect that's what will happen. Cresswell will be at left back, Kufal will be at right back, and the centre-back partnership will be Zuma and Kera. The double pivot will be the captain, Declan Rice. Thomas Souček will be his partner. Now, that was probably quite straightforward. This is where it could possibly go wrong because, of course, it depends on what happens at Hull in the next 24 hours or so. Or even less than that, actually. So
12, isn't it? Coming up on 14.
So I've gone with, I'm expecting the worst and, hoping for the best. So I've gone Ben Rama left. I'm actually going Antonio on the right. I wouldn't be shocked if David Moyes does say to Jared Bowen, mate, you need a break. So I'm going to put Mickey out on the wide. Pablo Fornals on the 10 and Scamacca as the 9. Duke, what do you think?
Well, like you say, all dependent on what happens in the next 12, 14, 16 hours, isn't it, really, with Paqueta. I mean, the fact that you could take Fornals out and drop Paqueta in that role, or even the second half. Thank you, Budgie. Let me just shine it up a bit more for you. The fact that we could be looking at Fornals coming out, like I say, half time or even starting lineup, you're putting Paqueta in there. It really does boil down to us boasting now an incredibly strong squad, Rob, in my opinion. No, we've got no Bowen in there, but we can drop Antonio. I forgot he can play right wing. Well, he liked playing left wing when he was up front, so it don't really matter. And then you come all the way back. So, Fabianski, Areola, Cresswell, Emerson, Zuma, Cornet, Cresswell, Zuma, Ogbonna, Kera, Agerd when he comes back. Dawson's in there, although there was some rumours today attributed to X that Dawson travels back down from Manchester to Rush Green for training. Well, just fucking move, Like, I don't think it's that difficult. You've got the money to buy a fucking house. Let's go do it.
All he needs to do is rent.
Well, even that,
I don't know whether his kids might be settled in schools up there. Hey,
yeah,
Dave.
I get that, but it frustrates me. You got Sufal there, Johnson, Ashby, Rice, Souček. You've got Fornals that can play in there. You've got Lanzini that can play in there. You've got Downs, Coventry. We've got an abundance now, almost too many compared to what we had last season. And the fact that we're sitting here and you've put up a predicted lineup that's partially rotated as well. It's not something we would have seen a great deal of last season, Rob. You know what I mean? Even when it comes to playing in the bloody FA Cup, he was like, full strength, there you go. I agree with what Budgie says about Scamacca not getting three starts in a row. I can see that. I fully understand where that comment's coming from.
Rochdale,
Manchester, Sharky, yeah, up that way. The fact that, you can drop Antonio out because for me, Bowen and Lanzini and the unfit Zuma have been our biggest concerns so far this season. The fact that we can make changes, Lanzini's nowhere near that, Bowen's nowhere near that, although he could still start. But what we're saying is this is what we think. And then you've got Zuma in there, who did look a lot better against Villa yesterday. That excites me, Rob. The rotation. I mean, I don't think you're a million miles off. There might be one or two different parts of the personnel there. Again, also it comes down to Paqueta in Hull before midday tomorrow.
One thing I could say, just sort of like like I say, just to sort of like as a little caveat, as I say, I put this together before it was announced that he'd actually signed. So if he gets the work permit sorted, will David Moyes start him even then? Don't know. But let's just
What
say that you
permit
clocked
is
him
it, Rob?
work
Is
permit,
it the
from what I
work
understand.
permit?
Yeah, that's what
Because
I understand.
I would have believed he would have. Oh no, because I would have assumed he would have already had one of them for playing in France, wouldn't he?
Well, according to
Or
Sky
is it
Sports News,
because
that's
it
not the case. But I mean, if he plays,
needs to
let's
be?
just suppose, for the sake of discussion, he plays, he starts. I think he starts as a 10. I think Fornals could possibly be moved out to the left. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Ben Rama on the right and Antonio drops out. Because here's my take on it. I know everybody says, oh, but Ben Rama's really a left-sided player. I saw him play last season at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against the team that we're about to play on the right-hand side. And he played
Yeah.
really well. He was by a country mile our best player, and he scored a goal. So I don't for 1 minute believe that he couldn't do a job over there.
Hey, listen, there are, and Budgie's just brought up another very good,
I don't think he
no,
could.
but he's brought up a good shout. And it just goes to show, Rob, that we can mix it up now. There can be different things. You know, we could quite easily turn that lineup that you've got there, we could quite easily turn that into a 4-4-2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rice, Souček, Fornals on the right, Benny on the left, or even, as you say, the other way round, and Mickey up top alongside Skamaka, giving their back three something else to think about.
Yeah.
You know, or even a 4-2-2-2, a favourite of mine on FIFA and Football Manager, I'd like to point out. And having the two wider players like Fornals and Benrahma slightly narrower and just outside of the front two, you know. So there's so many different permutations now that we can change to in game. You know, we touched on it earlier that we went from a 3-4-3 and we're being overrun at the back. Moyes noticed that and made the changes and made the right changes at the right time, and we got the right result. So, as I say, it's exciting, Rob, with the different permutations now.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose we should get the other lot up on the screen, shouldn't we?
I hope you spelled their name right. C-U-N. Sorry.
No. Let's not go there. The missus is just there. The missus is just there. I don't. She might.
C-U-N. What?
Steady.
Not
Okay,
her.
so
I didn't say her.
No, I know. Now,
Oh,
again,
that's H-I-P. Sorry.
Hugo Lloris, the captain, will be between the sticks. It will be a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1 formation, whatever. Ben Davies will be the left centre-back. The central defender will be Eric Dyer. Now, I've put Davinson Sanchez on the right, but it could be that Christian Romero might be fit enough to start against us on Wednesday night, but we'll see. The rest of it, I'm pretty convinced is pretty much nailed on. I'm going Perisic on the left, Emerson on the right, Betancourt and Højbjerg as the central pair, with Son and Kulusevski playing just slightly deeper, of Harry Kane as the number 9. Talk to me, Duke. That's pretty formidable, isn't it?
It is, but they weren't formidable against Forest, Rob. This is what I'm getting at. And I said this, I tell you what, I said this about City. So I've been having these conversations with people in the pub, okay, that I felt that Newcastle a couple of Sundays ago had the Manchester City blueprint down to a T. Crystal Palace first half had the Crystal.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, I say good news. It's obviously not good news for him. Yeah, fair enough. From a West Ham point of view, if he isn't involved, I think he's a cracking player. So if he doesn't play, for us, that's good news. But I'm sorry to hear that it's a concussion. So,
yeah, I mean, is it maybe?
Basuma, yes,
will start.
Yeah, very likely.
That's just as formidable, to be fair.
Cheers, Michael.
But no, I was saying about City against Newcastle, City against Palace, and I said that Newcastle especially had not quite had City's number, but had City's number. If you get what I mean, but it didn't take a lot because they have so much class in their sides, Rob. It just takes a couple of bits of magic. And against Newcastle, those couple of bits of magic, the pass from Kevin De Bruyne for the silver equaliser,
Mm-hmm.
right, was something else, right? You know when you say inch perfect passes, right, and mate, this goes beyond that. This was like platinum level pass from Kevin De Bruyne, which is they're full of the team is full of players that can pull those sorts of things off, right?
Yeah.
This Tottenham side did exactly the same against Forest yesterday. Backs to the walls at times. I thought Forest, when 1-0 down, were going to come back into it and maybe get something out of it. And then obviously another ex-West Ham player who, considering we had one absolutely vilified for Fulham the other day, we had an ex-West Ham player yesterday that decided to walk off and leave Harry Kane the entire space of a 6-yard, 8-yard, 18-yard box to just do a little diving header past Henderson. Coyote just decided to go, I'll see you later on, I've done my bit, I don't matter anymore, see you later, and walked off. Spurs do have that in them, but play the right way against them with the quality players and get yourself in front. They're going to come at you and they're going to leave gaps. I'm not being funny. And others in the chat might disagree with me. I really don't rate their three centre backs there, Rob. I really don't. Even Romero coming into that, I personally would prefer if I had to pick Sanchez or Agard. Well, it's going to be Agard. Zuma or Dyer. It's going to be Zuma. Ben Davies or Ben Davies or
Cresswell
or Tilo Kehrer. Well, for me,
Yep.
it's going to be Kehrer. That's not because I've got the glasses on. I'm looking at it objectively, and I'm thinking that those of the three centre backs that they've got there, our three are stronger. Don't get me wrong. When you start going forward, Basuma, Souček, I'm going to pick Basuma. Højbjerg or Rice, I'm picking Rice. Perisic, he's a good player, but is he going to be what he was considering he's now in his 30s?
Yeah, it's 33.
You know what I mean? I look at Emerson again, him over or even him over Bowen. Kulusevski, fantastic player. He gets in front of well, in fact, the front three get in front of anything we've got. No disrespect to Skamaka. Skamaca's only young. He might go on and have a better career than Harry Kane at Spurs. He might go. Skamaka might go on and win something. Heung-min Son, I love him. I think he's an amazing player.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's hard, but I do think that back three is there to be got at tomorrow. And if it comes to it, and I think the 4-4-2 would, Moyes going 4-4-2 and putting the two big bastards, the beasts, up amongst those, and then asking the likes of, Benny Fornals, Bowen, Cornet to come running at these three as well, causing absolute havoc. Mate, I'll tell you now, we can get something out of tomorrow's game. Forest proved to me yesterday that you play against these right, you can get something against them. It's just that Forest didn't have the better players, but we can get something out of this game tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Michael's comments there, I to be fair, I don't disagree with a word he's come out with there. I do think that Romero's put it this way: if Romero isn't in and Sanchez is, then I'm going to be happier. Dyer has made strides under Conte, where he's played him as the central of the back three. He looks a lot better, and I also agree Davies is the weak link because essentially he is by trade a fullback and he's playing at centre back. It's a bit like Cresswell when he plays there.
Cresswell, yeah.
So no real fundamental difference there. But
I still think Dyer is as Dyer is named.
I don't think he's as bad as people paint him out to be. I think a lot of the time it's because I think that sometimes it's a bit like.
Would you have him in front of any of our five, Rob?
Do you know what? Right now, I think I could possibly make a case for him over Kurt Zuma simply because of the fitness concerns I've got over him. That's just me.
Fair enough.
But that might be a controversial thing for me to say. But listen, I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be. I really don't think he's as bad as people think he make him out to be. I think that he's been. There have been times that he's looked disappointing, but as I say, I mean, Michael said he's improved under Conte. I'm guessing Michael is possibly a Spurs fan and sees them week in, week out, I suspect. And that's fine.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with Michael there. I don't think Dyer should be anywhere near the England squad. Same as I don't think Luke Shaw should be anywhere near the England squad, or Harry Maguire for that matter. But that's my opinion. I respect his opinion. That's fine. Everyone's entitled to them. I'm just obviously.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I suppose if Southgate was to play with a back three centre backs, well, that's the system that Tottenham play. It's a bit like if Gareth Southgate's going to play with three centre backs, Connor Cody probably comes into the equation, rightly or wrongly, because he's used to playing in that system. He knows what the demands are. Whereas when you put Connor Cody in the two centre back a partnership, he's not quite as effective. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's enough of that. So anyway, right. Thanks for your input, Michael. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you.
If you're a Spurs fan, then welcome along. Do appreciate you getting involved, and bring a few mates. If we can have a little chat, we can have a little bit of banter going back and forward. So long as it's nothing nasty, then we're all good. Right, Duke, you want to do a little comparison? A little head-to-head?
Yeah, I mean, I want to focus on our striker versus their centre back, and then obviously I want to do the same going the other way. See, I rate Connor Cody very highly. Yeah.
What, even in a sort of like a two centre back defence, or as opposed to
no, as a three, I rate Cody really highly as a three. I think he'll do well up at Everton. I really do. I think he's gonna do well up there. No, I tell you what, this one's going to be difficult to make a case for, because obviously Scamacca hasn't done enough. Like Dyer's more experienced in the Premier League when it comes to a history, shall we say?
Yeah.
Whereas you've got Scamacca in his first season. Now, Scamacca's 23, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yep.
Dyer, obviously, what is he, 20, 26?
I think he might be a little bit older. Just bear with me. I'll have a look.
Well,
I mean,
you look at this.
While.
Yeah, it feels like he's been around forever. 28. Spurs have kept 2 clean sheets so far this season. I don't know who the other one was against, but last night, obviously, we saw that they play against Forest. And as I said already, I'll come to that in a minute, Sharky. That's going to be part of my thing here. It was against Forest. A better team would have scored goals yesterday, Rob. A better team would have made more of the chances that Forest had. We have to play like Forest did yesterday. If we play like Forest did yesterday, we get the balls out to the wings, because again, if we can get the ball into the box, I'm not saying use Scamacca like an Andy Carroll, but we know he can head the ball. We saw that he's got he's got the head on it for the goal against Viborg at home. Strong header. The goal away at Viborg, ball into the box. Natural goal scorer's instinct and talent there, Rob. Takes a step back, and then Bosch, he's forward. He just guides it. There's enough pace on the ball that he just guided that into the back of the net. He has a real goal scorer's instinct. He has a real natural talent as a striker. if we get support in and around him tomorrow, Wednesday, sorry, the back three, not just Eric Dyer, but the back three of Tottenham are going to be in for a torrid time. That's what I mean, Michael. Yeah, that's what I mean. They only got one shot on target, but it felt like they had, the balls into the box, the half chances that they created. A better team's going to actually make the most of those. Do you know what I mean? Like a decent striker's going to get a shot on target. They tend to put the balls into the box, and the strikers hadn't made the run for it. So, um, I personally think deployed correctly tomorrow, Skamaka is going to give Dyer one hell of a game. Dyer will know he's been in a match tomorrow because Skamaka's a big old lump, Rob. He's not. He's strong. He can bully Dyer tomorrow. No, on the flip side to that, Skamaka's never come up against Dyer before, and it might be that Dyer just owns him. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting battle, this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Skamaka's still in his infancy as far as Premier League is concerned. So it is kind of difficult to make a comparison against Eric Dyer. That say what you want about him, whether you're a fan or whether you're not. He's obviously got a wealth of Premier League experience to fall back on that Gianluca Scamacca simply does not have. So it will be an interesting battle should Scamacca play, because that is the thing. I mean, Scamacca may not. I mean, Budgie said it earlier. He can't see that Scamacca will make 3 successive starts, and he may well be right. So it may well be that this comparison is not one actually we should be paying too much attention to. But we just thought we'd do this as a little bit of extra conversation piece. He's back in training tomorrow. Yeah, as I say, I heard he was back in training, Michael. And as I say, purely from my point of view as a West Ham fan, I would prefer it if he didn't play, because I actually think he's a good centre back. He's one of them. I think he's one of them. He's a typical South American, combative, and if we're being, it's gone 9 o'clock. I can probably say it. Bit of a bastard, Duke. Do you know what I mean? He's got that little bit of fire in his belly, which most South Americans have. Sort of like people from Argentina, Uruguay, that sort of neck of the woods. They're fighters. Do you know what I mean? And I, to be honest, he's one of them players. He's probably one of them type of players. If I'm being honest, cards on the table. He's probably a player a little bit like I'm not talking stylistically here. I'm talking in terms of personality. A bit like a Robbie Savage, a Craig Bellamy, someone that when he's in the opposition team, you fucking hate him. You fucking hate him.
Oh, yeah.
If you put him in the club colours that your team are in and you watched him play and you saw how committed he was, you'd go, oh, my God, what a player we've got. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those. I hated Bellamy. Before he was at West Ham. Yeah. But, I mean, obviously, Bellamy I'd seen playing in the Premier League for years before he rocked up at Upton Park. And I couldn't stand the geezer. As soon as he was in claret and blue and I saw how, he was closing players down, he was all energy, he was trapping it off. He was someone that was really sort of committed to the cause when he was in your club shirt. And I was like, mate, I love him. I love the geezer.
Just to touch on Sharky's earlier comment about Scamacca looking at me yesterday, I actually think he looked good. I was, again, there was especially in the first half, he looked a bit forlorn. He's making the runs that he's hoping to find. People are going to find him, and they never came. He looked a bit forlorn. Second half, when he had players up and around him, and when he had that support, my God, did he look sharp? He was in and out. He was running channels. He was ready to make the runs in behind. I look impressed. I am impressed. And then Sharky says there about Fornals and Romero having a spat. That was when Romero leant over him, and there was rumours that he spat on him, wasn't it? But
I remember that. Yeah.
He didn't spit on him, but it did look the way he came in and leant in. It looked like it spat him, and there was a bit of a hoo-ha over it. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'd rather he doesn't play Romero, like you say, Sanchez and Davies. I mean, listen, if Romero comes in and replaces Davies, we could be in for a hard time
I don't think
up
he'll
there.
replace Davies. I think if there's someone in that back three that I put up that's vulnerable, it's probably Sanchez.
Yeah, but again, he's the weaker link because he's naturally a left
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. But
If I may, just before we carry on, I've just
mm,
read here
yeah.
that we are one of. Let me scroll up. Keep scrolling up. Keep scrolling up. There's one. West Ham and Crystal Palace have made an inquiry to Manchester United for Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Really?
Manchester United believe that both advances have been turned down as the club don't want to sell or loan him before the deadline. But if he was to depart, a replacement would be required.
Well, I
So
think
we've
that.
made inquiries about Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Well, I think that will probably be the end of Harrison Ashby's West Ham career then if he comes in,
Possibly.
which would really annoy me. Don't get me wrong. I think Wan-Bissaka's a decent player. And again, I think he's one of them players that you'll probably look at in that Manchester United team and go, well, he ain't all that. But I think if you get him in the right setup and the right team and put an arm around him, I think he could be a cracking player.
That being said, Rob, does he not fit the remit of us going 3-5-2, 5-3-2 better than Ashby or Soufal? I
Soufal,
personally think,
yes.
I personally think you'll probably see Ashby go more right back and battle with Soufal for the right back spot when we're doing 4-2-3-1, and you probably see Bissaka play more as a wing back with Emerson Palmieri on the other side when we play the wing backs. So I reckon I don't necessarily think it means that Ashby's West Ham career would necessarily come to an end. I just think it's just one more hurdle for him to take on.
Yeah, I agree with what Michael's saying there. I think that he's probably a slightly better version, or well, maybe more than a slightly better version, if I'm being completely honest, of Ben Johnson. I'm afraid.
I think he's actually a poor version of Trent Alexander-Arnold, but just the other way
Okay,
around.
fair enough. Okay, Budgie, he says he wants to make a quick point. Crack on, mate. Make it. Right. Okay. Yeah, he's not particularly good in the final third. Yeah, as I say, that's what Johnson gets accused of. But the interesting thing with Johnson is that a lot of people say that Kufau's superior in the final third than Ben Johnson is, yet Ben Johnson's got 2 goals to his name and Kufau hasn't got any. So, right. Shall we get on with the score predictions?
Zuma Kane?
What?
Zuma and Kane. I thought I was going to do the.
Oh, you wanted to compare them as well? All right. No, that's fine.
Might as well.
Hang on.
We're here, aren't we? It's only fair.
Okay, right. Give me a couple of ticks because I wasn't prepped for that.
That's my fault. Is
No,
that
fine.
Ven? Is that Ven in the chat?
What?
Is that Scott Ven in the chat? Because Scott Ven normally comes up with.
Isn't him? That is him, isn't
He normally comes up with
Scott?
Ven after his name, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Unless he's had a little change.
Jeff, is that you?
Right. Player comparison. Right. Who do you want to compare, mate?
Sorry, Rob. I've really put.
That's all right.
I was going to be Zuma and it is Ven. I was going to Zuma and Harry Kane, please.
Oh,
I don't really need their bits up on the screen.
okay. Well, it's up to you. I can do that.
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry. I was just like, because we did obviously we did the opposite way. I want to come on to this. I think Harry Kane Wednesday, poses a whole different threat compared to anything that we've already faced this season for our back line. He doesn't represent like a new fandangled modern day striker. All right, that's what Kane is, an old school striker for me. He does a lot of it. Listen, he can come deep and he can play, but most of his best work is done in and around that box, old school striker style. You look at the goal he scored yesterday, the second one, the header, lurking in and around that box, was left at home.
Just diverted the ball, didn't he? Used the pace up,
Yeah,
didn't need.
great ball by Richarlison, prick. Couldn't leave it alone. But I think Zuma is more than a match for Harry Kane. I think he's strong. He's going to have to match his runs. But as Scott's just put,
a fit Zuma. I'm not 100%. I know you.
Listen, we don't know. We don't know where he's at right now. Yesterday he looked a lot better to me, Rob. He looked having that extra game off in midweek. He did, yeah, because of Bonner and Kara played. Having that extra game off, I think it did him the world of good. He was able to let those muscles relax. Don't get me wrong; it's going to be 2 in 4 days for him, so it's debatable whether he's going to get through that. But a fit Zuma will give Harry Kane probably Harry Kane's hardest test of the season. You know what I mean? And then obviously, as Scott says there, Heung-min Son scares the living shit out of me. I mean, I love the fella. If there's one player outside of our club, he's the one I want. He's the one that I want to come and play for our club. I absolutely love Heung-min Son. I'd take him over a lot of other players. Who's the fella at Arsenal, the young lad?
Martin Odegaard.
Odegaard, yeah, love him. Love Martin Odegaard. I think he's such a great talent. But I'd still pick Son over the top of him, mate. I love Son. As I just said, Scott, I think the extra game off midweek last week when he didn't play in the Europa game, I think did him a favour.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, without further ado, let's do the score predictions. And all you guys in the live chat, get involved with this. Give us your score predictions. Give us your first goal scorer. Michael, if you're still there, get involved in this, mate. Obviously, if you're a Spurs fan, you're probably going to favour your side. Not a problem. Come one, come all. Right. Duke, talk to me. How's this going to go?
This can go one of 3 right ways, Rob. We can win, we can draw, we can lose. No. Stop being a pick. It can actually, it's got goals in it. Hey, look, the boys turned up. I love it. Good evening, Kent. It's got goals in it, as Ken says, you know. They're no mugs, Rob.
No, definitely not.
But then we flip that and we go, we have, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. My brain's gone absolutely dead. I was reading what Scott said about Antonio and my brain went,
You had one of those moments where you walk into a room, and you go, "What the fuck have I just come in here for?" And you walk out of the room and you go, "Car keys." That was it.
No, I mean, listen, they're no mugs. You know, they were top of the league after 2 with Arsenal. You know, they're a pain in our arse because obviously they're a good side, Rob, and as I said earlier, I'm very envious of their front 4, if you want.
Yeah.
Or even Bissouma. Go Bissouma and Højbjerg. I hate Højbjerg. I think he's a bully. Again, you were saying earlier about having players in your team, Rob, weren't you? And
little bit of a bastard.
Højbjerg's that player. Højbjerg's that player for me. I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. But he puts on a West Ham shirt and I'm going to fall in love with the guy. It's
Ooh,
chocolate,
again,
mate.
if that happens, I'll be quite happy with that because Son is world class.
I'll tell you what, if Richarlison starts, it, it'll be an easier night for Vladimir Sufal
Yep.
if Richarlison starts instead of Son.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Richarlison's a shit player. Do I think he was worth the money you spent on him? Time will tell. I honestly, at the time, didn't think that Raheem Sterling was going to be worth the sort of money that Man City paid for him. Proved wrong. I didn't think Erling Haaland was going to be able to do it in his first season in the Premier League. He's sticking two fingers up at me right now. I thought it'd take a year to bed. I thought it'd take him longer than this to bed. And Giza goes and spanks home a hat trick at the weekends, something else. Um, we can get something out of this, Rob, if we show up.
Yep.
If we can play like I said it already several times, if we can play like Forest did yesterday and put Spurs on the back foot, no disrespect to Forest, but our quality of players is chalk and cheese, Rob.
Yep.
I honestly think that we can, yeah, as Ken says there, the transition's key. We, you know, we have to push them in.
Hmm.
We have to push them in. We have to harass. We have to harry. We cannot let
Not Harry
them,
Kane.
not Harry Kane. We have to stop them having an out. We need to stop them having an out, i.e., getting the ball to Son, Kulusevski, Kane, Richarlison if he starts. The boys. We have to keep them penned in.
Mhm.
Declan Rice is going to have his work cut out with the boys in the middle of the park. If Basuma starts, then I think that makes it slightly more difficult for us over Bentancur. Basuma for me is a machine at breaking up play, Rob. I would have loved to have gone in and grabbed him before Spurs went in. I would have loved it. Um, so I, if we can do what Forest did,
Hmm.
I have every faith that we can come away with a victory tomorrow because I just think, especially if we score the first goal, um, if we score the first goal, Spurs have got to come out and go. And if Spurs come out and go, that leaves gaps in behind. And if Antonio plays and he's got his pace, if Cornet is out on that left and we've got the pace, we can get balls out of defence quick, over the top and in behind. I'm not advocating the long ball. What I'm saying is direct and get the ball to those guys out on the left and right wings in a way that we scored the goal at Viborg.
Hmm.
The second one, long kick from Areola, flick on from Skamaka, touched by
Cornet.
Cornet round the corner. Benny's in to tuck the ball in the back of the net. I can see us scoring them. I can see us scoring those goals against Spurs tomorrow. And again, if Spurs go 1-0 down, they've got to come out, and that gives us that space in behind. I think we can take it 2-1 tomorrow, Rob.
2-1. I'm not quite as optimistic. I
You
think
never are.
no, I know, but it's a London derby, and I know that if there's one game that we're going to raise our game for, it's going to be Spurs. But let's be honest, we've not looked great this season. Well, I wish I could say to the contrary, but we are where we are. I am optimistic that if Paqueta is available even from the bench, just the signing of the guy will surely give people a bit of a boost, people in the squad, a little bit of a lift. And there might, as a result of him walking through the door, there might be certain players who might just ratchet up their game an extra 5-10%. Do you know what I mean? Because there's someone
Yeah.
of that sort of like quality coming through the door. And that could be something that plays into our favour. That being said, like I say, if Son plays, and I agree with you, I think the guy is a quality player. Forget about club rivalries just for 1 second. Purely from a footballing point of view, we're all football fans. Let's have it right. We all like to watch a good game of football, whether it's our team involved or not. and he is a world-class player. He is absolutely superb. Walks into any team in the world, in my opinion, in the world. So we've got to watch out for him, and if he doesn't start, that is to our benefit. And I'm not saying Richarlison, if that's who replaces him, same as you. I'm not saying he's crap, but he ain't no Heung-min Song. Simple.
Michael, sorry, how much Rob, you can tell me as well, how much did they get Basuma for?
I got a funny feeling it might have been about 50, 60 mil. Michael will probably...
I don't think it was that. I honestly don't think it was that.
Was it not? Yeah, I mean, I know there was this thing about the allegations that were hanging over his head. I don't know whether they've been sorted out or not. I haven't got a clue. But, I mean, I've make Scott right. I mean, a couple of times that he's played against Declan Rice has had his hands full with Basuma. And, I mean, Gio on Hammer's chat is on record. He said it on several times where he said that if Declan Rice was to go, and this was obviously when he was at Brighton, if there was
Rob,
one player...
I thought that's what you went for. 30 million quid.
Really?
I completely agree with what Michael says. That going under the radar was that's a signing and a half.
Do you think part of that, though, was... I don't know how long he had left on his contract at Brighton, but do you think the allegations that were hanging over his head were part and parcel of the reason why he came at such a reasonable cost for a Premier League experienced midfielder? Listen, 27 million rough. Jesus. If you got him for that, mate. Last year of his contract.
Even then, I mean,
that's crazy.
That's a steal. He's an outstanding talent. But again, if I may, Rob, I touched on this the other day with you when we were talking.
You never touched me.
I did. Stop lying to people. This Anthony Gordon thing.
Claire Balding?
Yeah. Where is he? On what parallel universe? On what planet is a guy that's played less than 55 games? I would like to know what planet Chelsea are on that they think that he's worth 60 million. Yet everyone is sitting there. We do these chats, Rob, and I've literally called Declan Rice, and I'll say it again. He's had a couple of bad games this season, but Declan Rice for me is the best player in his position at his age in the world. Okay, I'd stand by that statement. Nothing I've seen this season makes me want to change that statement. Yet I have fans on social media of other clubs telling me that we're living in a fucking dream world if we think that Declan Rice is worth anything near the £150 million that we're saying that's what we want for him. And you've got Chelsea turning around and saying that a player who has no international experience, has no real Premier League experience apart from under 55 games, is worth 60. You've got Chelsea fans willing to pay that £60 million for a player that, as I've just stated, no international experience, no real Premier League experience. But Declan Rice, who's got 3-4 years worth of first team football under his belt, he's led part of his country that went to the finals of a European Championship, was man of the match in the final of said European Championship until he was mistakenly hauled off, which I personally think led to us losing that game. Yet these Chelsea fans are willing to pay £60 million for a kid who looks like a lesbian.
Well, it's not Chelsea fans that are paying it, in fairness.
No, but they're happy for their club to pay it, yet they won't spend the sort of money on a player like Declan Rice. I don't understand where that mindset comes from. It's not that they're getting their pants pulled down. Chelsea are willing to go that high. Chelsea can turn around and go, no, you're right. They don't have to pay that, do they? Fofana for 70 million, I fully understand. I think he's a fantastic player at 21 years old. We were after him at one point. We were after him at one point before he went to Leicester. He's gone to Leicester. Leicester are in absolute free fall, if I may. But back to the Anthony Gordon. There is no comparison, Rob. Like, how can you be willing to spend 60 on this kid, but not 150 on what I've said in the next 2 years, 3 years tops, will be the best defensive midfielder in the world. The only player that has, listen, that's what he was worth to
Man
Aston
City.
Villa.
Well, yeah.
No, but that's what he's worth to Aston Villa. Aston Villa said 100 million, they went, yeah, I don't have it. Same as Leicester with Ben Chilwell, 50 million there, have it, right? Do I think Grealish is worth that sort of money? No. Actually, yes, he is, because he flattens out the wings of the turf at the City of Manchester Stadium like a roller. That's what he rolls the grass out nice and flat.
You
Expensive
wouldn't let
roller,
it
but it's
lie, would
worth it.
you?
He's a prick.
You forgot floppy-haired prick.
That's true. It's true. Alice band, floppy hair wearing. Anyway, I don't understand where, as I say, Declan Rice for me, the only player that's better in his position than Declan Rice in the world at the minute is Joshua Kimmich at Bayern Munich. You know what I mean? I can't.
Anyway, I was in the process of telling you my score prediction, wasn't I?
You was, and I went on a rant. I do apologise.
That's all right. I agree with Kent. Desmond, 2-2.
Why?
2-2 draw. I think it'll be two teams that will be going at each other. I think it's two teams whose attacks, if they click, are capable of scoring goals. But I also think that the defence, the back lines can be got at by said offences. And I think that I don't see either team keeping a clean sheet. I think it's going to be a bit of a back and forth. And I'm just going for a 2-2. I could be wrong. We could get smashed 3-0. Hopefully not, but
I'm
Sharky's
not.
jealous.
I'm really not.
The
The fact that he looks like a Princess Diana Football Manager regen is beyond me.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I mean, it's like anything that is bought. It's not what they're only worth what someone is prepared to pay, and that's whether it's a Premier League footballer, whether it's a car, whether it's a house. You know, it's
But
only
that's
worth
not
what
what.
the player is.
But that's not what Everton are saying they want for the player. Everton have not come out and said we want 60 million.
What have
Chelsea
they
have
said?
actually Chelsea. No, they haven't, Rob.
Okay.
Chelsea were the ones that came out and said we're willing to go to 60 for Anthony Gordon.
Okay.
And bearing in mind, I
Chelsea's money, I couldn't
watched
care
Sky.
less.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's Tom Bowie's, isn't it? But I watch Sky Sports News all day, Rob. So I see all of this coming across the bottom of the screens and everything
Yeah.
else. And that was what came up last week. That Chelsea are willing to go as high as 60 million. Everton have stayed stum for all of this. It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, listen, if Chelsea are going to put an amount of money that Everton feel they can't say goodbye, say no to, that's up to them. Personally, being completely honest, I couldn't care less. It's an Everton player. It's Chelsea that are looking at buying. I couldn't give a shit.
I don't think he's worth 2 bob, to be honest with you. But hey,
Listen, I think he's a decent player. 60 million, you could have the argument over.
60 million. I'd rather go get a 36-year-old Karim Benzema.
But you know the reason why, don't you? It's because he's English. It's because he's young. You know that as soon as you get an English player, there's an English player tax that jacks the price up. If he was French, he's probably about 30 to 40 mil.
No, I think you're wrong. I just think it's Chelsea being idiots. Anyway.
You always think I'm wrong.
Listen, it doesn't mean you're not.
What was it you said about Erling Haaland?
I was wrong. Listen. I'll freely admit that. I even put it in my chat that I had with my brother and mates. I turned around and said, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I honestly thought it'd take 6 months to a year to bed. I thought we wouldn't see the best of Erling Haaland for about No, I don't, Sharky. I think he's fucked. I don't know when to pay the wages.
Might terminate his contract by mutual consent. I don't know. That might be one option.
He won't want to give up the money. I know
I
that
think
sounds
they'll find.
stupid,
I
but
think
he
they'll
won't.
find a compromise.
I don't think they should have signed him in the first place. Well played, Manchester City. Well played.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. I think we're pretty much done, aren't we, mate? Unless there's anything else you want to bring to the table.
Hey, listen, I never want to stop talking when it comes to West
No,
Ham
I
and
know.
sitting here with your gorgeous mug on my screen and having a good old chat with the lovely
Need a
people
shave. It's getting a bit
in the
long.
live stream. I tell you what, mate, I'd hold on to that for another couple of months. We ain't far out. You'll be all right. You could get a job in Blue Water Shopping Centre as Father Christmas. You'll be all right.
Should we do the Forge Fun House of Fascinating Football Factoids?
Let's do it.
Right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your factoids. Factoid number 1. Tottenham have won 99 Premier League London Derby matches and could be the third side to reach 100 victories after Chelsea and Arsenal. Meanwhile, ourselves on 112 have lost more such matches than any other side. Not a reason to be cheerful. We have lost just one of our last 7 Premier League matches played on a Wednesday, with 3 wins and 3 draws, going down 2-0 at Arsenal last December. We had lost 6 of our previous 8 such Wednesday matches before this, with 2 victories.
Bullshit red card.
Well, yeah, there is that. Tottenham have won 25 of their 52 Premier League games against us, only beating Everton 28 times and Manchester City, surprisingly, with 27 victories, more often in the competition. Now, that last one's a bit of a shock, isn't it?
No, because you got to think. I was watching the Premier League years earlier today while I was working, and it was a time when you're echoing, Rob. You're on mute now, you prom.
Yeah, I don't know if it might be yourself because I've got the headphones on.
Let me do a swap. Here we go. No, I watched it, and there were years when Manchester City was shit, Rob, at the start of like in the Premier League. You got to think we were up and down a lot at the early parts of the Premier League. We weren't even in the first season of the Premier League, so
True.
you know it could be that a lot of their wins came 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Maybe. Is that better, chaps? I can't hear me now, so it was really off-putting.
Yeah, no, it might have been I've swapped the headsets over, so hopefully that's better.
I'm guessing it's okay, chaps, in the live chat, if you can just confirm that. I can't hear me, so I'm guessing it must be. Right, okay, I'm going to move on. We've got 2 factoids left. We were one of only 2 sides to score in all 19 of our home Premier League games last season, along with Liverpool. But we haven't scored in our opening 2 home games this season. We have never failed to score in our opening 3 home league games in the season before, last failing in 3 consecutive home Premier League games in general in December 2008 at Upton Park. And the last factoid is we have won our last 2 Premier League home games against Tottenham, last winning more consecutively between February 1997 and August 1999 with 4. There you have it. Cheers, Walshy. Appreciate it. All good.
Looking forward to Wednesday. Are you going, Robert? I'm guessing you're going.
That is the plan, unless something at work delays me unduly. That is the plan.
I'm going to be travelling back from Warwick Castle. It's about a 2-hour drive with traffic. I'm going to be leaving there at 5, so hopefully I'll get back to pub for about 7, which gives me enough time to get set up downstairs. Obviously, Liverpool are playing on the same day, so I'm going to have to split the pub into 2 and have the West Ham Tottenham game in one half of the pub, and then obviously because we do get a lot of Liverpool fans
Yes.
come, so we'll have to make sure that they've got their own space for their game with the commentary as well. It's just part and parcel. So hopefully I'll be back in time to watch it. It's because this is the last couple of days I get to now spend with the kiddie winkles because Logan goes back to school on Thursday. So
Best place for
the
him.
summer holidays have gone quite quickly. So this is the last 2 days I get to spend with him.
Yeah.
So we're going out for 2 days and then, yeah. So hopefully it's I get back in time. I don't want to be stuck in fucking traffic coming back and the game being played and passing me by. I'll make sure my phone's charged, my laptop's charged in the car, and I'll see if I can transport myself to. Actually, I'll be on Sky Go when it's. I won't have to transport myself to a different
South
country.
of France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just for those of you that are left, just to mark your card, 7:30 tomorrow. This gentleman, Mr. Tony Carr, the West Ham legend, will be joining us here on Falls from Iron for a live Q&A. So get yourself involved, get in the live chat. Any questions for Tony? You know the format. If you were here with Stuart Slater, you just put a Q at the beginning and put it in the live chat. We'll pick as many of them out as possible. I can't promise we'll read everyone out because obviously time is limited and there's probably going to be quite a lot of people that want to get involved. I've already got several contributors backed up on the video files, but it's all good. I'll try and get as many of them through as possible. And I'm going to show this off. This was the photograph that I got with me and Tony when I picked up his excellent book, which you can see me holding there, which is basically his life at West Ham as a coach, as the academy director, as an ambassador, everything as far as his time at West Ham was concerned. 43 years in total.
Madness.
And just because I can, just to give it a little, if any of you guys want to pick this book up, you know, there is the ISBN number for your perusal. You just put that in and it will find any book in the world. It's amazing. There you go. A Lifetime in Football at West Ham United by Tony Carr. Give it a read. It really is a good read. I've learned quite a lot, and I'm still going through it.
Should be a good interview tomorrow. You're taking the lead on that one, Robert. Right? I'm going to be button monkey for the day. You gave me my pleasure. Well, actually, that sounded so fucking wrong.
I've given you no pleasure at all. Well, actually, there was that one time we both got a bit tanked up, but I did apologise. In fairness, you know.
That sounded so wrong. You allowed me my indulgence, shall we say, of interviewing.
It doesn't sound
Stuart.
much better.
No, it doesn't. But you allowed me my indulgence of interviewing Stuart Slater last week. Guys, if you haven't caught that video, go back. Stuart is he kind of held up his part of the bargain, Rob. You know they say never meet your heroes, don't they? Well, I'm glad I did because he was he's a great guy. We know that from before, but he was a great guy Wednesday night. You know, he took time out of his day where he went back home to see his mum, wasn't it? And he took time out of his day to talk to us, to answer everyone's questions, and I'm really glad we got to do it. And I'll take the back seat on Tuesday. I'll be the button monkey tomorrow for you to you obviously interviewing Tony. We have got some other stuff possibly lined up, people. I'm not going to give you any hints. Oh no. But we've got another couple of possible names in the hat for interviews. One I'm very excited for. And that one's near enough confirmed, isn't it? It's just a case of trying to work out a day now and get that one sorted.
Yes.
I'm excited
got
for.
To get back with a certain someone with dates and this
I'm looking forward to that one.
Let's put it this way. He is one of a select band of West Ham players in our history. A select band. There's not many walking around this earth that can claim what he can claim that he did whilst he was in a claret and blue shirt. That's all I'm saying.
He can.
This
man here can. He's one of them as well. It's not him, by the way. It's not him.
No.
He's one that I would love to interview, I have to say. Parksy, got a lot of time for that man. The fact that he looked like
Yep.
my dad growing up as well, or my dad growing up looked like him. Rephrase that. But yeah, that'll be a banging one. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, we got some irons in the fire, so we'll
Quite
hopefully
literally.
have some more ex players, ex involvements within the club coming up soon. Not bad for a little channel like ours, Rob.
No,
We don't need
no,
the
doing all
thousands of
right, ain't we?
subscribers. We're just happy with the lovely people we've already got. We'd like more. If I don't get more, I don't care.
Is what it is. Anyway, talking
Right.
about giving more.
Hey, he's done well, the boy.
There you go,
He's had a
see?
mix up.
There you
He's had a
go.
mix up.
Upstairs for drinking, downstairs for dancing. Please consider
Probably
donating
all
to
you do.
the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. There is their Just Giving link. I didn't do it earlier, did I? Hang on a moment. Hang on. Don't move. I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to put that back up. Only this time, I'm now going to go into the live chat and put that there for anyone that should want it. There is the Just Giving link, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're feeling generous, if you're feeling flush in this time of strife that not just our country, our world is going through, let's be honest about it. This is a charity that helps out members of the Newham Borough community that is the community that is local to our beloved West Ham United. And they're trying to put food on as many plates of the underprivileged people that are struggling with this cost of living crisis as possible. If you can see your way clear to putting a couple of quid in the jar, you've got the Just Giving link there. I have put it in the live chat. No donation is too small. For any of you that are going to the ground on Wednesday, as you come out of Westfield, you head across the bridge to walk towards London Stadium in front of you. The aquatic centre is on your left. John, who's the main man at Iron Supporting Food Bank, who does a tremendous job, is normally on a bench somewhere around there. They've usually got a big flag up saying Iron Supporting Food Bank. They're quite prominent. If you want to go along there with a few bob cash, not a problem. He'll take it. If you want to go along there with some perishable items of food like cans of beans or whatever, they'll take it off your hands. Not a problem. And we thank you very much indeed for your support. And we would also encourage you to please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. And Duke, I shall finish with, what are we, old chap?
Massive and getting massiver, Robert.
That'll do me, mate. Come on, you irons.